Hello, YouTube. It is Friday night. Had to think about that for a second. And we're going to play a little bit of Phantasy Star Online. It's been a little bit. It's kind of been a little bit hectic around here. Also, kind of trying to figure out some different ways to optimize OBS. Been having a bit of issues lately with lag and latency and all this kind of fun stuff. And after all of my trials and errors, after all of my troubleshooting, I think I've concluded that it's because my computer is a piece of garbage. Now, it was great back in 2012, I think, when I got it, but it's clearly seeing its age. The video card that I got came stock with the computer. I have never really purchased any kind of like higher end video card. But I'm starting to realize that if I'm going to be doing things like streaming or any kind of high-end video rendering, I'm going to need to get a good video card, even something sort of middle tier around the $400 or $500 range. That being said, my computer is pretty old as well. Now, it's not that bad. It's a Pavilion Elite, and I got it in 2012. It's a Windows 7 64-bit operating system. I have 16 gig of RAM in it. It's a Core i7 first gen processor, so it's a decent computer. It's just that it's old. So I was thinking about getting a video card, throwing it in there, trying my luck with that, but ultimately I've decided maybe it's just time to retire this thing, maybe give it to the parents or something and get a new one. I'm going to warn you guys right now, at some point during the stream, I'm going to get called out for just a small period of time, 5 or 10 minutes, just because I have to do something downstairs, but it's going to be temporary. And yeah, that's about it. So why don't we fire up the Dreamcast and let's see who is online tonight. Now, I was already looking ahead of time, and it looks pretty good out there in terms of players, so hopefully we'll have some luck. Hey, Yono. I also was experimenting a little bit with Twitch streaming, which I think I'm going to actually try, because somebody told me that you could export it to YouTube. I'm not sure if it does it in real time or if it does it after the fact, but regardless, it looks like it'd be a really good option for me because, from what I understand with Twitch, it gives you a bit more monetization options, which, you know, might as well while you're doing it, right? And if you could export the stream in real time to YouTube, I guess it really wouldn't affect too much. And yeah, I just kind of want to try different platforms and see what it's all like, what it's all about. So I think at some point I'll probably do that, but nothing in the near future. I also have this Amazon Prime account, which apparently gives me some sort of free subscription. I had no idea that if you subscribe to a Twitch account, somebody else's Twitch account, $4.99. I figured it was sort of similar to YouTube, where you just basically follow somebody and, you know, it's free, and the whole idea is that it's more eyes on the screen, but I guess not. So anyways, the things this old man is learning. Okay, so let's fire up our guy. And hopefully we will not have any issues tonight. The Halloween event, unfortunately, is over. I'm pretty confident it's over anyways, because it's November 4th. The last time we played it, we made it right to the end, and that's when it sort of failed on us, which was really unfortunate. And then we did a couple of quests in, I think it was hard mode or very hard mode. I can't recall exactly. But we do have a couple of players tonight. Wow, 11 players already online. Cool. Looks like we're going to have a decent game. Oh, the patch. Interesting. Also remember to get the Halloween patch for PSO PC. Oh, neat. I've never played on PC, as you guys know, but I guess there's maybe, what, different items or something like that? Hard to say. Okay, well, let's say hello to everybody and introduce ourselves. Hey there. Am I late to the game? Find out if these guys are going to be playing anymore, if they're done for the night. Well, alright, cool. So let's see. There's an ultimate team waiting for me. Well, let's see what kind of teams are already started then. Organize team, join team. Okay, so there's a very hard team playing right now. Don't need to choice search. Okay. So, I'm not 100% sure if these guys are all Dreamcast players or not. Organize team. Join team. Let's just see what's going on in DC for Life. And then maybe we'll jump out and see if these guys are going to start a ultimate team. Ooh. Halloween Horror Return. Okay, rerun rather. I'm down if you need a fourth. Okay, so I'm just gonna let them know that I'm actually BBA tonight. BBA tonight. I'm using Eves and USB GD ROM. And while we're waiting, we'll crack that guy open. And let's negotiate this team. So there's 5 of us. All of us appear to be... Actually, there's a level 1 character. So let's see who's going to create it. My connection is pretty stable. But HH crashed on me last week, right at the last door. I'm not 100% sure who these players are, I'll be honest. Wanted to test the chat as well. Okay, so it appears as though a couple of people are probably signing off for the night. So we might only have, if activating false, switching disconnects. We appear to be doing well. Then at the last switch, it just crapped out on us. Okay, who is running the team? Cool, thank you, Mr. Technosqueak. That'd be awesome. Get some tips on that. Because I was looking at a couple of people's different streams on Twitch, and it seems like they had some pretty complicated setups. And one guy I was watching, he was giving out blue shirts or something like that, and I didn't quite understand. I guess it was based on donations, so real-time donation giving, they ended up getting a certain priority access to chats or something. Again, the old man in me coming out because I have no clue what they were doing or what was going on. Well, I knew they were playing games, but in terms of managing the actual stream, I really was kind of clueless. So, all right, let's see who created what. Organize, join. All right, so they didn't. Oh. Boo. All right, so they bailed. Let's see who is actually on the other ship. Because there's 3 players here and we don't quite know who they are. So who do we got? Anybody actually in game? Organize, join team, no team. Okay, cool. So let's see if you guys starting a team in a bit. All right, so I just got a text, so in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna have to dip downstairs. That's okay, you guys can watch the chat going on in the lobby. It'll only take me about 2 minutes or so. I just gotta get a couple things organized. Okay, I'm not 100% sure these guys are going to start up anything. Okay, so let's, and there's no teams. All right, let's just see if anybody else. There's 5 players now here. All right, well, let's see who the 5th player is. Unless there's a GameCube player in Quest and we can't quite see them. Alright, well, you know what? I'm gonna start up a Ultimate Quest. And they are welcome to join if they like. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Well, the good thing about the Twitch setup too is that I noticed pretty much nobody is streaming Dreamcast. I know MX Doom was doing that for a little while, but I don't really follow Twitch. I used to watch a couple of live streams when there were special events that people were doing, but I never really got involved with the community. I know it's a pretty fickle community as well, so. Okay, just give me 1 second here. Let's see if anybody's gonna join this team. It might be a quiet night to start. So I'm just gonna text, you know. Okay, cool. We got one more person in. Vigito Koa. Alright, well, that's a start. Let's see if we can find anybody else to join us. And then, do we have any items that we had to get rid of from the last game? A couple escape dolls. That's always useful. Our traps are all loaded up. Oh, we look pretty good. Okay, let's talk to our partner here and let's see if we want to wait around. Hey, hey. Think anyone else will jump in? Oh, cool. Kuroheim's jumping in. Or Yukina. Hola. I have to... Okay. I have to do something for about 5 min. But I'll be back. I just have to grab a car seat from the in-laws van because that's what I do apparently. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna be back very shortly. I just have to quickly grab a car seat and stick around. I'm just gonna leave the game open and let you guys watch what's going on, and I will be back. So see you in a second. Okay, hopefully I didn't lose too many of you. Sorry about that, guys. It was I had to do something downstairs. Let's just let the team know I'm back. I'm back. And let's have some fun. Okay, so where's the rest of the team? Right over here. Cool. Okay. Sorry about the last HH game. I totally screwed it up when I used my shot on the boxes. Okay, what's this NPC want? Is there a way of... Oh, cool. What was the issue? Ah, I remember. There we go. Remember that from last year. Is everyone here BBA? Because I do remember last year, like, it kept crashing as well, like kind of around the end, and it was because I was using DreamPi at the time. But I not finished it once. Cool. Well, if we are all BBA, did you want to do a final run for the year? Oh, cool. Ebenezer's joining in too. Awesome. Okay, we got a full house. Everybody's so excited for Ebenezer. Ebenezer, are you in the chat as well? I know that sometimes you watch the stream while you play, so... ESOGC setup. This should be a decent game. Alright, well, while we are trying to figure ourselves out, I would play on BBA if I didn't keep dropping. Are you on PC? Yukina? I knew that. So Yukina is also the same person that plays as Karoheim sometimes. So they may have switched to PC for this particular game. Alright, how does PC hold up connection wise? I just want to walk around and kill stuff. Yes, don't we all? So if the PC holds up connection wise, gotcha. Okay. I stocked up before I started playing. Yeah, HH would be great. Are you DreamPi? Ebenezer? Yeah, we got a full house tonight. Parent apparently DreamPi is picky about HH, but I guess we could try. So probably wouldn't hurt to just give it a run and see how far we get. It'd be nice to finish it on Ultimate, and I'm really curious what were in those last couple of doors. Me? Oh, okay. So I guess Ebenezer and Yukina were playing earlier, and there was a connection issue. Yukina had to finish on their own. Makes sense. Alright, so when I'll meet you all at the guild, let me know when you're ready. Okay, so let's go to the guild. Let everybody sort themselves out. And then it appears as though we're probably going to play the Halloween horror event, which would be great because we're playing on Ultimate as well. And Yukina knows all of the secret pathways. So hopefully we can open up those doors that we were unable to access the last couple of times we played. And yeah, it should be pretty cool. Alright, so we got Yukina here. Let's just wait for a couple other players. And in the meantime, I am going to show you guys a couple of other neat little things that I picked up. So, got a pile of stuff here. Okay, we're down. We just got to get one more person. About 45 min to an hour. Okay. So I finally got this game. I've heard nothing but good things about it for ages, and it took me forever to find it. But Red Dead Redemption, it was because I was waiting for the Game of the Year edition with all of the DLC. And yeah, same thing as always. I just managed to score it at a local thrift store for $2 actually, which is an extremely good price. And Halloween horror, yes, cool. Gonna load up into everybody's VMU. But yeah, I've never gotten around to playing it. I've never played the Red Dead Revolver games or anything like that. But I'm pretty confident they're games that I'll enjoy. I've heard nothing but great reviews about it. And for this game in particular, I didn't want to play the vanilla version. I wanted to make sure I had all the DLC onto one disc. So yeah, pretty excited about that. Now the reality of me ever getting around to playing it is pretty slim, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best to actually sit down and play a PS3 game. I actually have had a copy of Catherine for a while, and I know that's a great one, but I've just never had the opportunity to sit down and play it. I have made a couple of really good sales recently, and I'm thinking about probably picking up a Switch. Now, I was always going to get a Switch. That was a non-issue, but I was kind of wanting to wait for the second iteration of the Switch. This version, you know, generally when you get the first generation of these consoles, there's a lot of hiccups, and I've heard a lot of questionable things about the screen and the charger and things like that. So I was thinking that, oh, I'll wait for the next generation. It's probably going to be a little sleeker, might have a glass screen, might even be a little bit cheaper, you never know. It's generally how it goes, but, you know, they're launching Skyrim and there's so many good games, I might have to go first gen. Okay. Alright, so let's keep our controller down as well, because I noticed in the last game it was picking up a lot on the buttons. Boom. Oh, shit. I'm not gonna last long like that. Okay, so hopefully Yukina is gonna be able to buff me a bit, because there's no way I'm gonna hold up against these guys at one shot. Wow. That's not good. And I'm dead. Wow. And there we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the problems that I've seen online with the Switch are very few and far between. But I have seen a couple of people saying that if you leave it in the cradle for too long when you're playing, that there's the potential for it to bend. I don't think I'll be playing the Switch enough in the cradle at any given point to have to worry about that. I'm pretty confident that the amount I play, probably maximum of an hour at the television at any time, I think I'll be okay. The plastic screen I was a little bit disappointed in, because that, you know, depending on the type of plastic, I mean, if it's just regular acrylic, yeah, it's going to scratch pretty easily. And I'm sure they've done a lot of testing and stuff like that to make sure that, oh shit, fuck. You know, I'm sure they've done a lot of quality control to make sure that the screen holds up with some form of punishment, you know, like going to be used by young kids, so they don't want it to scratch up too badly. But that being said, if there is a second iteration that has a glass screen, like with Gorilla Glass or something to that effect, that would be kind of ideal. And I guess that would probably bring up the price, but also with a lot of these, oh come on, tag them a little bit, you know, with a lot of these different consoles, generally when they streamline them, they manage to make the system a little bit more powerful while being able to trim the fat on some of the parts. So my hope is that they're going to be able to streamline it, trim down some of the stuff they don't necessarily, oh for fuck's sakes, some of the stuff that they don't need, and in the process, oh geez, anything good here? In the process, add some better quality components for the components that they've decided they don't need, and you know, maybe the price will balance out, who knows. I do know that when I got my PS3, this is really the only time, other than I guess the Nintendo, maybe the Super Nintendo as well, that I ever bought, no, certainly the Nintendo at launch, because I think I got my Nintendo back in '86 when it was released. I think it was released in North America in '86. 85 in Japan. I can't recall the exact release date, but it was around that time, so 86, 87. It was definitely during kind of the heyday of the Nintendo. But what I'm getting at is that the PS3 is the only system that I've ever really bought, not at launch, because I didn't buy the PSP or the PS3 fat version. I ended up getting the Slim. And I'm glad I did, because even though there are some advantages to getting the PSP Fat, like depending on the version that you got, it's backwards compatible, which is nice. Now, it's not backwards compatible with all PS2 games, but from what I understand, it's compatible with enough to make it a pretty useful little system. But it's, you know, it's got that glossy finish, and it doesn't look very good. Same thing goes for the PS2 Fat, which actually is a better system than the PS2 Slim, but it doesn't look as nice as the Slim. So what I'm getting at here with the Nintendo Switch is that it looks like a good system. Like, it doesn't look like a bad system at all. Aesthetically, it looks, and then I'm dead again. Great. Aesthetically, it looks like a decent system, but I'm pretty confident that they're working on it right now to make it look even better. And since I really only want to buy this console once, especially at launch, I kind of want to make sure that I buy the best version. And you know, that could mean I'm waiting out forever, but at the same time, if they're going to release it, I think they're probably going to release the next version within a year or so. They definitely will release a secondary version, but other than the DS systems and the 3DS systems, generally when Nintendo does a second version of their console, it's not better. Because when you think about the Wii, I don't think they ever got around to making a second version of the Wii U. But when they re-released the Wii, like you had the standard Wii, which had all of the bells and whistles and stuff like that. And then they released that like Wii Slim, which looked a bit smaller, but it didn't have, I don't think it had network capabilities. So, you know, it wasn't exactly a better system. It was the price was only offset by what it was missing. So that being said, even if they were to release a second version of the Switch, hard to say if they'd release a better second version of the Switch. But they're on a roll right now, and all the reviews on Super Mario Odyssey are pretty good. I was never a big fan of Super Mario 64, so it's hard to say if I'll get into Super Mario Odyssey, but from what I understand of the game, there seems to be a lot of different sort of side quests and different types of gameplay mechanics. Keep it interesting, you know, not just 3D platforming and stuff like that. That's, oh, come on. Okay, good, I missed it. Which, you know, I was never a huge fan of. Even the games that I have beat that are 3D platformers, it's not like I beat them because I enjoy them. Oh no, come on. Ah, fuck. It was more like a test of patience. Like, I've beaten Soul Reaver a couple times on different ways of playing. Like the first time I beat it was on the PlayStation, and that took forever, and it was only because I enjoyed the character idea. The actual game in and of itself isn't that spectacular. I started to play it on the Dreamcast, which is probably the optimum version, and I've beat it on PC as well. But it doesn't mean it's a good game. It's okay, it's very good, but it's not a great game by any means. Oh wow, we got a lot of people in the chat. Hello everybody. Sorry if I'm not paying 100% attention to what's going on over there, but I am definitely going to have to start taking a peek. Yeah, the monsters in this particular quest are insanely difficult. And look at that. Little bugger. So now you see that little smiley face in the bottom. That means that I cannot really do anything except just run away and hope that I survive. Yeah, that's true too. There's no GameCube capability with the second generation of the Wii as well, which is another reason why the original Wii is probably the better system. And quite frankly, it doesn't look that bad. The biggest fault of the Wii, I thought, was the fact that it doesn't allow for... They didn't think far enough ahead to give it HD capabilities. You know, it came stock with composite, which, you know, when it was released, when was that, 2006? It still wasn't outside the realm, holy fuck, of possibility to have, well, I shouldn't even say that. I think the majority of people were still on old CRT TVs. I know I certainly had one. I had a CRT TV till I think about 2009, maybe even 2010, when it actually just died. I don't even know really what happened, to be quite honest. I just turned it on one day and there was no picture. So it was about that time that it was actually when I got my first PS3. I just decided, okay, let's go for broke. I wanted to try out Blu-rays. I got a flat screen television. I learned my lesson from my first experience with DVDs, and that experience being, oh cool. Oh, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, you son of a bitch. When DVDs were released, I ended up buying a standalone DVD player instead of having the foresight to get a PS2, which would have cost me pretty much the same amount. But, you know, I really wasn't thinking at that time. So, yeah, I got my PS3, I got my HD television, and, you know, the Wii, I think, what did it go up to? I think maximum composite, didn't it? I'm pretty sure you can mod it to do, like, HDMI out or something to that effect, but don't quote me on it. I am interested in getting a Wii for its backwards capability with the GameCube, but also interested because apparently you can make it into a pretty decent emulation box. Now, that said, I've got way too many ways of emulating gaming recently. To the point where it's like, you know, I think I'm good. I've got all my bases covered. I've got an Ouya, which I've shown you guys in the past, and that has a bunch of emulators and games on it. You know, it doesn't really take much to get a full Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy collection on the Ouya, even with the stock 8 gig, which is what I have. I also have a RetroPie setup, which works perfectly fine. I also have an R4 card for my 3DS, which I don't utilize that much. I bought kind of like the cheaper R4 card, but it does the trick for a lot of systems. It does struggle a little bit with the Super Nintendo for some reason, which is pretty disappointing because those were actually the games that I really wanted to play on the go, because the Super Nintendo has some of my favorite RPGs of all time. In particular, Final Fantasy II. I know some people are more partial to Final Fantasy III, but I was always a big fan of Part 2. So that's Part 4, actually. Part 2 here in good old North America, but Part 4 back in Japan when it was released. You guys can look up the chronology on Final Fantasy if you want, and why it's all screwed up. But yeah, I've always loved that game, and then when I had my R4 card, rather, I thought, okay, cool, well, I'll play that. But there seems to be a bit of issue with the shading for some reason or another. I don't know why. It seems to cut out different layers of the sprites. So sometimes you'll be walking like down a corridor or something, and you might not even be able to actually see your sprite. You're only able to see what's around your sprite. So, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. Fuck. Oh, and great, now I'm tagged by this guy. Life just keeps getting better. But yeah, you can get better R4 cards. So I think I might actually get one of the more higher end ones, and I guess the difference between the higher end ones and the stock R4 cards is that the R4 card really has no processing power. It's just kind of like a way of, pretty much just a way of connecting an SD card to the game slot on your DS. So that's all well and good, but it will cause certain problems for certain emulators. The emulators sometimes use up a bit too many resources, and even something as powerful as the 3DS can't necessarily handle them, from what I understand anyway. Again, don't quote me on it. But I also recently, I think in the last video I showed you guys, I picked up a PSP 2000 for essentially nothing. I got it in a game bundle of a few other things, and I sold the doubles that I did not need, and at the end, the doubles pretty much paid for the cost of the games that I needed, in addition to the games that I needed, in addition to the PSP itself, which, you know, that's the way you do it. Gotta stay in the red, stay in the black rather. Don't want to be in the red. Is anything here I can use? I don't think so. Oh, defense materials. Sweet. Okay, let's go join our party. Hey, welcome aboard, guys. Alright, so let's use some of these things that we gathered. And wow, we're blowing through the scape dolls. But the cool thing about the PSP 2000, you know, amongst the other things, is how easy it is to load emulators on it. So it kind of sucks that you can get adapters for these now, but it kind of sucks that the memory card for the Sony has like their whatever it is called, their memory card Pro, and I think it only goes up to a maximum of 4 gig. So I have a 2 gig and a 1 gig stick, which means you can't really fit a whole ton on it, but I did order an adapter where hopefully I can put on, you know, like a 64 gigabyte SD card and put some more games on it, but it's got a really decent PlayStation 1 emulator. I was really shocked, and how easy it is to play the games on PlayStation 1. Now you gotta buy, or not buy rather, but you've got to download special, I think they're called what are they called? E something file games. And they're basically PlayStation 1 games that are sort of optimized to play on the PSP. And you have to load custom firmware, which I'm not sure why they have never figured it out to have custom firmware permanently installed on your PSP, and why you've got to constantly kind of reinstall it every time you boot up your PSP. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I figured once you load it up, you're good to go, but every time you turn off your PSP, you've got to reload it back onto your system. So, oh, and I'm paralyzed. Do I have an anti-paralysis something? No. Well, I guess I'll just use... Oh, I can't use anything. Oh shit, I'm frozen. Nope. Doesn't like it. Okay. There we go. Looks like it was just temporary. But yeah, so I loaded on custom firmware, and I loaded up the PSP, or the PS1 emulator rather, and I put on Final Fantasy VII. And I was like, wow, this looks amazing. It plays really well. It sounds great. It looks great. And the emulator that you put on your PSP gives you a lot of different customizations options, so you can make the screen fit whichever way you want. You can have it as the native resolution if you like, or you can have it so that it fills out the screen, or you can have it so that it's still 4:3 but just a little bit nicer looking. And I'm dead already. My god, this is brutal. Okay. We have got to figure out a... Holy shit. Okay, come on, come on. But the issue is, so the PSP I got, I don't know what's wrong with it. I hope there's not something like a fuse or a resistor blown on it or something. When I got it, the battery didn't work, and it looked like the battery had exploded. I took it out, it was a bit spongy. I just assumed, okay, it kind of blew up, just get a new one. And I ordered a new battery. And it worked for a little bit, maybe about an hour or so, and then the battery died again. Like, oh shit. So I ended up ordering another battery. Now the PSP plays fine while the adapter's plugged in, but it just seems to be really particular with batteries. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what the answer is. I guess I guess troubleshooting will tell me with the next battery. If the next battery fails within an hour, I suspect it's probably an issue with the actual PSP itself. But overall, I mean, I think that's just my hypothesis, and I haven't really done any diagnostics on it or anything like that. And I think that's kind of a worst case scenario. So I'm going to chalk it up to maybe just having an exploded battery, which happens. It happens quite regularly. I'm sure most of us have opened up an old piece of electronic and you've found like 2 AA's or something like that have corroded everywhere, and you've got to clean it out. Now I've found the best way to clean out battery acid in battery compartments is you get a little bit of vinegar, and you can either soak whatever it is in the vinegar, or you can just spread it on. But spread it on nice and thick, and it will actually, you'll actually see the chemical reaction as it breaks down the battery acid. Alright, so we got a couple more materials we can apply to our character as well. Item. Power material, definitely. In a perfect world, our character is supposed to be the bruiser of the team. In reality, he is the kitten of the team. He sucks. A lot of it has to do with just the fact that I've never really... I don't optimize them the best way I should. Like, you guys have not seen me feed the mag yet. And most of that is just due to the fact that there's so much going on right now that I don't really have a lot of time time, and I want to keep up with my teammates too. I don't want to sit there and just putter around while they're busy fighting. Now, you guys have probably noticed there's a bit of game slowdown. I don't think it's lag because everybody's working well, but it looks like the game is choking a bit. So I suspect that that is due to the amount of enemies that are currently on the screen, the amount of players currently playing at the same time. And, you know, just the fact that this game, this particular quest was made by the sysop, and it wasn't necessarily optimized for, I don't think, really anything. I think they really kind of maxed out every capacity of the Dreamcast with this particular quest. Like, look at how many enemies there are. Holy shit, what was that? These insta-deaths are going to be the death of me. Huh? See what I did there? That was a good little pun, eh? Alright, so... how did he go down? Okay, anything we can use there? Just escape dolls. We can certainly use those, but hey, I think we can all use those. I don't think there's any particular character here who is... even Yukina you can see is dying quite often. Now, Yukina's character is not nearly as powerful as Kuroheim, but still a pretty powerful character nonetheless. Oh, jeez. My mag is level 200. It was provided to me by another person here. I can't remember who it was exactly, but I haven't given it enough food lately, and its synchro is really out of whack. So I should really take some time and feed it, but the issue is this game is so hectic. I don't necessarily have the time, and right now I'm feeding it primarily Trimates, and because I'm feeding it primarily Trimates, as you can tell by this game, you can't, unfortunately, in this quest, dip back to Pioneer to restock. You gotta kind of play through or die, and if you die, you can respawn. You can respawn in town, but that's not necessarily ideal. So, you kind of got to hold on to all of your traps. You've got to hold on to as much of your mates as possible. There we go. Okay, sweet. What's this? Nothing. What's this? Antidote. I feel like I could probably actually use that. Seems like they're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at us tonight. Oh, am I actually hitting for something decent? Nice. This S-rank weapon is... for fuck's sakes. Okay, I think next time it does that, I've got to get out of the screen. My character is definitely not doing well in terms of handling those insta-deaths. Now, I seem to remember I had a ring at one point that prevented that, but it appears that the ring I have currently makes me quite susceptible to insta-deaths, but does protect me quite a bit against dark attacks. Okay, let's just use this guy and hope for the best. Okay, cool. There's a Trimate. Use that at least. Alright, let's apologize to the team for kind of getting desperate. Ah, come on. And he respawns right on top of that fucking photon ghost or whatever you want to call it. God damn it. Cool. You can always use power material. And there we go. Even these guys here, like, I don't quite understand why everything is so powerful. I guess we're on Ultimate, which is, of course, the strongest, or the highest level that you can play on. But this particular game, I think I played it on Ultimate before, and I don't seem to recall it being this bad. Holy smokes. Okay, so this is probably where we're going to want to use most of our traps, I'd imagine. Oh shit, where did our weapon go? Lost it for some reason. Okay, we got it back, so... Alright, and it appears as though somebody is helping us out a bit on the sidelines. I guess that would probably be Kuroheim. And we're buffed, so that's good. Assume they're going to try and debuff the enemies as much as possible. But given how many enemies there are, and given how strong they are, I think they come in pre-buffed. It's going to be quite the challenge. And this particular level right here, this is, out of this entire quest, this level is easily the most difficult. Like, there's the most going on in it the entire time. So, oh shit, there's the photon ghost again. Get out of here. Okay, let's see if we can tag these guys. And I think we might actually get a level up tonight too, which would be kind of cool. Bring us up to level 110. I think we're... see what we got. Oh, well, might. Okay, following your lead. Following your lead. Oh, of course I go type, and look what respawns behind me. Okay, guys, stay together. We can do this. 1, 2, 3. If you time it right, generally the third strike is the most powerful. And as I've mentioned before, I actually have to play without sound because I don't wear my... Don't touch the switch. Don't touch the... Oh, for fuck's sakes. Don't touch the switches till Yukina says so. Alright, well, at least we're not... we're immobilized, but we can fire. So, let's fight back as much as possible. No, I haven't really... actually, I had a lot of problems recently with just the sync issue with the mic. Now, guys, let me know if you notice that the mic is going out of sync with the webcam. And I think I finally figured out that problem. I don't know 100% if I've resolved it, but it appears as though it was working well when I started the stream. Now, it does go out of sync a bit, and I did set the priority on OBS to quite high, so hopefully it'll just basically use all the resources in my computer and render everything properly. But as I was saying earlier on in the stream, I think the solution that I'm going to have to... Now, the solution I don't want to do, but I'm going to have to accept, is just that my computer's just old. I got to get a new computer. So I'm shooting for after Christmas. When oh, fuck's sakes. You know, all those sweet Boxing Day sales and everything like that. So hopefully we'll be able to get something then, which would be kind of nice. And I'm definitely going to get a desktop again. I should probably just build one. It's generally pretty easy. Come on, guys. Can anybody bring me back? That would be nice. Alright, sweet. Cool. Thanks a lot, guys, for letting me know that the stream is in sync. Alright, has anybody got any moon atomizers? Yes, they do. Sweet. Thank you. And it appears as though... Okay, here's the secret level. So the secret door and follow Yukina. So let's charge up. We actually didn't use any of our traps, so we don't really need to do much. But I'm just going to follow Yukina's lead and let them... Yeah, Cyber Monday. It's another one that you generally get some pretty good deals. But again, I think I might try and build one again. I haven't built a computer in a while, and it's so easy nowadays. And then at least that way I know what I'm actually putting in it. But I'm kind of out of touch with what the premium parts are. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research. I think ultimately in the end it's just a lot easier to just buy a prefab one from well, I was going to say Future Shop at first, but obviously that... Need a fucking beer, Andy. That's the way she fucking goes. And if you're not aware of the way we're chatting, we're using Trailer Park Boys references. Put a shirt on, Randy. Okay, last level. So fortunately the last bit of this quest isn't particularly hard, but it is long. It's probably about another half hour or so to complete it. Okay, we're not going to read that because we've read it a million times. Okay, wait for the other party members and we're good. Sweet. Oh no, get it! Oh. That's the one thing that when you get in the rhythm of firing and you see these attacks coming from the other enemies, you really gotta almost approach this game like a real-time sort of strategy RPG. And the reason I say that is that you get stuck when you're in that momentum of the level up. Awesome. You're in the momentum of the firing pattern. It won't let you break it. And then when you see these attacks coming, you're like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. But there's about a 1 to 2 second delay before you can actually do something. And I'm tiny. Excellent. Okay, where is everybody? And am I tiny and confused? Wow, story of my life. Okay, so what are your opinions, guys, on buying products from places like Newegg or something like that? Especially in Cyber Monday when they have kind of good deals. Now, there's a lot of good electronic stores here in Toronto. I'm sure they'll have deals as well. But if I can kind of just order what I need in, you know, like most people, it would just be ideal. Save me the headache, you know? But it's great. Like, I can remember back in the day when you built a computer, it was such a pain in the ass because none of the companies really communicated with each other that well that produced the parts. So you'd always run into all these configuration issues that would drive you absolutely mad. Typically it was things like if you got a graphics card, it wouldn't communicate with the motherboard because the motherboard was made by some company that only really worked with another company, and you know, round and round you go, and you have to do all of these tweaks and stuff like that. And sometimes things just won't work at all, but other times, oh, it looks like somebody took Masetta. That's okay. Sometimes things wouldn't work at all, but other times, you know, after a little bit of configuration, you can kind of get things communicating with each other appropriately. But nowadays, basically, anything you buy, you can get to communicate with each other. So there's really no issue. So I mean, really, what do you need? You need a decent motherboard with lots of slots and things like that. You need a decent processor, probably like a, what is it? I think are they up to 7th gen right now in the Core i7s? Might not even go with the cores, but it's just kind of what I've been doing for the last little while. Last couple of years, rather. You know, get that, buy your own RAM. Now I do have 16 gig and 4 gigabyte strips already, which is a decent amount of RAM to start with. Oh, and we're paralyzed again. Fuck. Oh, even better, we're tiny. Decent video card. You can get a. I don't really need a decent sound card. Sometimes when you get a decent motherboard, it'll have integrated sound card capabilities, and I can just run when I need the Focusrite on the side, the Focusrite 6i6 for doing things like mic recording. What else? Decent tower would be nice too. Something that looks kind of cool. Then all the other little like things you don't think about until you kind of get into it, like a very, very, very capable power supply, because there's nothing worse than having like 4 hard drives. Like right now I have five hard drives plugged into my computer. They're all those eco drives, so they don't turn on unless you're actually using them. But you know, you get enough of those going and you get some other high-end, high-drain devices going, and you've just got the regular 250 watt power supply that most people have. That's not going to do much. You're gonna run into overheating problems and all that kind of fun stuff. So lots of fans, maybe even go for like a liquid cool system, and lots of extra power. Definitely gonna need to get like a dedicated cooling, either do it through the liquid cooling system or a dedicated fan for the CPU. What else? Yeah, you guys know how it goes when you build a computer. Same thing when you strip it down. I always forget like the little things when I'm building computers too. Like, oh, I actually need like an on-off switch sometimes. Like sometimes they come in with the tower. They don't ever really come in with the motherboard or anything like that. Come on, come on, come on. But sometimes you get lucky with the tower and everything. You just kind of plug in and you know you're on your bike. But that's if you get a decent tower too. Yes, and get a decent SSD for your OS. And I think actually I'm probably going to go and get a Linux-based system. Don't bother with this like Windows 10 nonsense. I realize Windows 10 is one of the better operating systems that they've released recently, but I'm starting to get kind of fed up with Windows. I mean, I have for the last 20 years, I feel like, but in particular lately with the amount of mandatory updates. Like when I have Windows 7 and I prefer to use Windows 7, I think it's kind of one of the, well, I don't think, I know it's one of the best operating systems that Windows has ever released. You know, Windows 3.1 was fantastic for the time. Didn't have any problems with that. Windows 98, Windows 95 was a bit clunky, but Windows 98 was great. Oh, come on. At one point I had a computer actually that had Windows ME, and I had to reinstall it pretty much like every, Jesus, I had to reinstall that like every other week, I felt like, because it just kept having so many issues that I just, my computer, which I had built at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing 100%. Just it wouldn't agree with the operating system. So I had Windows ME, Millennium Edition, in case you didn't know. Then after that, what did I get? XP, which is also a fantastic OS. I used XP forever. And what came after XP? Was it Vista after XP? I think it was Vista, which is garbage. And then 7, which is fantastic. And then they were trying to make you do the mandatory upgrades to, was it 10 or 8? I can't recall exactly. 8 was garbage. And even though 10 is good, I just feel like my computer is not quite powerful enough to take full advantage of Windows 10. And Windows 10, from what I understand, is kind of trying to do the Apple model where they're trying to integrate themselves into every sort of aspect of your life. So, you know, you get Windows 10 and then you're expected to tether all of these different things to Windows 10 and you end up becoming dependent on it. Now, that being said, it's not the end of the world to become dependent on an operating system because, come on, let's face it. Even though we say we don't want to give our iPhones access to cameras and mics and photographs and all that stuff, they're listening. We know they're listening. We can tell them no all they like, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to be doing that. So I've kind of given up on privacy for the most part. I mean, I don't want the general public kind of accessing certain social media accounts just because it doesn't make sense. But, you know, I can't help it if Facebook wants to like gather metadata and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of creepy actually. I remember one time I was with my girlfriend or something. I think we were sick, something like that. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna go run to the. We were just sitting downstairs and we had her tablet and my phone's present. And we were just kind of shooting the breeze. Weren't really doing anything else. We weren't typing anything on the computer or anything like that. And like, okay, I'm gonna run to the grocery store and pick up some Pepto. I don't know, we had upset stomach or something like that. Inconsequential. But when I came back, she was on Facebook, and I noticed that the targeted ads were all for Pepto-Bismol. And I was like, I think the microphone heard what we said and now is having targeted ads for us, which felt really creepy because we never typed it into any device. You know, you don't need to type in that particular product. It's been around for ages. We all know what it is. But yeah, it just kind of was like the first time I realized that the machines are listening and there's really not much we can do to prevent it from listening. Skynet is real, folks. Skynet is real. Alright, cool. Where are we going? Where's Yukina? Yukina went where? Yukina went over here. Okay, let's follow them. Oh, come on. Ah, damn it. Yeah, a solid state hard drive for sure for the OS, and then I'll probably just have a couple other, like, just random HDs just to kind of connect different. Like, generally I'll do a dedicated backup in HD, so just something that I can set my backups to, and then I don't have to worry about it being on the main hard drive. And then I'll even back up that to an external drive in the event that fails. And I'll typically have like a separate drive for things like downloads and movies and MP3s and things of that nature, and I'll have a different drive for just more personal stuff like photos and all that kind of stuff. Not a backup, but just something I can access that's separate. And sometimes when I get real paranoid, actually, I'll just unplug it because I don't access it necessarily all the time, but I don't exactly want it being accessed by other people as well. I just physically unplug it from the computer. Seems to work out pretty well. Yeah, I guess that is a problem if you do use things like Steam and Linux. It's not necessarily the most user-friendly. Oh shoot, I should have jumped in on that. Now I haven't really used Steam. I've used things like Good Old Games, which I know is much different than Steam. But I never really liked the fact that you're just not. So here's the thing. I know that a lot of games you get nowadays, you're not actually getting the game. It's nothing that you install on your computer, you put in the license key, and then it's yours forever. All you're doing is basically buying... Oh shit, I can't even use this until I'm bigger. Fuck's sake. All you're doing is buying the license key. and then generally you'll download the actual game after the fact. So things like Diablo 3. Now that's the only thing that I like about Diablo 3 on the PS3 is the fact that you can play offline, where you've got to play completely online if you're using the computer. That said, they stopped supporting the PS3 version years ago, and now they just support the PC version and probably PS4 as well. So I do like the PC version. They did add quite a bit of different sort of crafting options and things like that. But it also felt as though they could have probably kept up with the PS3. And it was interesting because I can remember when they were going to put on the Reaper of Souls expansion. Originally they weren't going to release it for the PS3, and then they sort of decided to do us a favor, thank you so much, and give us the Reaper of Souls expansion, which included the full game as well. So then everybody just got rid of their vanilla version of Diablo 3 for the PS3. But I think it was like after the second or third patch on it, I can't recall exactly, they just gave up on it, and they didn't really make any kind of grandiose announcement. There wasn't any kind of mention to it in the PS3 like in-game or anything like that, but this would be the last patch. I guess if you were a person that accesses the Blizzard website on a semi-regular basis, you were aware of it, but I was just playing as normal, and then all of a sudden somebody was telling me about some different crafting options they were doing. I was like, I can't do that in my game. And I did some research and I found out, oh wait, we're on like version 4.3, and I can't remember when the PS3 ended up not getting support, but I think it was after like 2.7 or something to that effect. So yeah, I don't particularly like the idea of Steam games, but also a lot of it has to do with the fact that I know my computer won't handle a lot of higher end AAA games via Steam. So I tend to stick to older games as well. Older, simpler games that don't require all of my time as well. It's funny that I say that because I'm like, oh, I don't really want to spend all this time playing an RPG. Like The Witcher 3 looks amazing, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I know it's fairly cheap to get the Game of the Year edition now, but I'll spend like an hour playing Plants vs. Zombies. So even though I tell myself I don't want to play these games, sometimes I'll just be puttering around and find myself doing the same thing, but to a less satisfying extent. Hopefully none of these guys are invincible, because I seem to recall, I think it was Kina saying that one of them became invincible at some point. Oh shit. Well, the good news is we're actually hitting for something, but our defense is just atrocious. Now a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm not feeding my mag, but come on guys, look at this. This is a mess. I guess next time we switch in between stages, we'll have to take some time and come on, get up. No. Oh. Well, at least I'm just tiny and I can actually do something, but I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. Oh. Okay, so I'm just going to let them all know that I'm holding up pretty well. My connection is holding up pretty well. Only a little lag. Only a little lag. Okay. Wow, I only have 400 Meseta, so clearly Clearly, I lost some Meseta somewhere along the line. Get away! Oh my god. Incredibly frustrating, guys. Thank you, Yukina. And are we going to be able to get out before the sorcerer decides to pull his nonsense tricks again? Oh, some evade material. We can always use that. Come on. Get out of here, you son of a bitch. Nice. Okay, maybe some of it has to do with proximity as well. If I stay a little bit out of range, maybe it doesn't attack for as much. Yeah, so I guess you guys heard that on the other end. I put my controller down and the rumble pack just exploded. Okay, you know what? Let's start having some fun with our traps, because this is insane. These guys are just slaughtering us. Soul Atomizer, don't really need that. Okay, and what do we got here? Oh my gosh. Okay, we got a couple of claws. Those should be easy enough to... Wonder when everybody's gonna get fed up with trying to trying to bring me back to life. You know what, I had a bit of a... I didn't like the Akura when it was first released, and that was because it wouldn't communicate with my... It wouldn't communicate with my Elgato directly. And then some other people on some different forums were saying that, you know, it looks great if it's put through a frame meister. I'm like, yeah, of course it looks great when you put it through a frame meister. It's like putting a piece of shit in a Corvette. It's like, what a great piece of shit. It's like, no, it's the Corvette. You know, you got the Cadillac of upscalers with the frame. Come on, get out of here, get out of here. With the frame meister, and you're running an HDMI box with the Akura directly into it. I would hope it would look good, because at that point you're spending probably close to $800, maybe $700 on upscaling your resolution. Like, that is insane when you think about it. But I've seen people do it. I've seen people on a couple of different forums that will spend that much money. Now, granted, I have the Akura. I do have the Lona HD 500, which isn't cheap by any means. I did get it for a fairly decent price. I think I paid 150 shipped Canadian for it. Which nowadays I think it goes for about 300 or something to that effect. So definitely... Oh, come on. Definitely not a bad little investment. And then I run it through the Elgato, which makes everything look pretty nice. I've seen some other capture devices, and I'm not sure if it's the capture device or if it's the... Wow, this is insane. This? No. This is insane. All these sorcerers, they just won't let up. Fuck! So maybe if I confuse the sorcerers, that'll distract them enough that they won't be launching all of these insta-death attacks. This is painful, guys. Holy smokes. Okay, let's see if we can freeze these guys. At least that'll help out our team a little bit, because we are doing little to nothing. But then again, like, the whole team, like, we're kind of in a rough spot. So yeah, my come to Jesus moment with the Akura was I realized that it looks fantastic on my just regular television downstairs. And also, you know, it probably wasn't designed for the purposes that I'm using it for. You know, I'm sure for most people it will meet the need perfectly. You know, you just want something that you can hook up to your television, have an HDMI connection. It's 480p, but if your television has a built-in upscaler, it'll look pretty nice. And quite frankly, I don't know, 480p, unless your nose is right against... Oh, shoot. Sorry. I grabbed your cash. And I'm dead. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. Let's get rid of all that money. There we go. Grab that Aseta. Uh-oh. Can you move? I'm still here. Uh-oh, we're crashing. Crashing. Abort. Okay, we gotta get out of here, guys. Quick game. Oh. So, in case you didn't realize why I was quitting the game, you could see that I was typing. And as I was typing, nothing was going on the screen. So, tell you what that means is the game is about to crash, and if you don't get out and save, you are going to lose all your Meseta, all your items, all of your weapons. It's not a good scene. So, let's jump back into game. Oh, fuck, we're never going to beat this Halloween horror quest. Oh, man, and I have no Meseta. Okay, let's jump back in. Here we go. And hopefully I didn't sabotage the game, but I definitely did not want it crashing either, because if I lost all my weapons, oh, that would be bad news. Okay, let's go to Altamira. Let's go back. Oh, hey Randy, you're in the chat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Uh-oh, did we freeze again too? Oh geez, the server might be not communicating properly. That's not good. Okay, well, let's reset it. Power down. Okay, so we have beat the Halloween horror event before. The event is posted online. You can see it for yourself. So I really hope it's not my connection that's sabotaging this game. But I also suspect we did have one DreamPi user. So there's a very real possibility that it was because we all know the DreamPi doesn't connect very well with Halloween horror. So hopefully that was why we crashed, but it would be really disappointing if it was just, you know, my connection, because I did start the quest. So Yukina did the roll call and nobody responded. And then I tried to respond, and as you can see, that wasn't very successful either. So okay, let's just blast through this. Presented by Sega, created by Sonic Team. And push start, continue. Yes. Yes. Online mode. Yes. Yes. And yes. So one of us was unable to support this quest. Not 100% sure. Let's see if anybody's in Altamira. Well, we still got a lot of users in Altamira. Okay, let's try and join again. And again, we're not connecting. Is there a server issue? Oh, you know what? It probably still thinks, because we crashed, that happened to us before. It still thinks we're in that ship. Okay, we're gonna try and go to a different ship. We gotta reset again. Let's go to, I don't know, let's go to Vega. See if we can get in there. Yeah, like we were saying before there, Randy, it's mostly people that use DreamPi that really struggle with that particular quest. But the good news is it's only that quest. So you can complete pretty much everything else, but that particular quest seems to be a real challenge. Okay, moment of truth. We've reset our game. What, number 3 now? Let's see if this works. I at least want to just get into one ship so that way we can kind of hopefully reset the server, because I think the server still thinks we're in game because that quest is still open. Maybe somebody didn't quit it quite yet. Continue. Yes. But if we go to a different ship, it might allow us to access the quest online. Now Vega won't be able to access Halloween Horror, but at least we'll be online and then we can start communicating with people. Okay, so let's go to Vega. Block 1. Okay, cool. So we can get to Vega. So Altamira is off the table right now. Let's see. We have all of our stuff. Okay, cool. So we still got a lot of... And we don't have any... We dropped our Meseta before. Hopefully somebody picked that up. Okay, let's just go into a game. Organize. Join team. Organize. Create team, PSO version 2, and maybe somebody else. Maybe somebody else will jump in and we can kind of figure out what went wrong. Register. Well, the DreamPi works extremely well. So far, it's just this one particular quest that most people struggle with. And the thing is, the BBA does not support all online games. So there's about, what, 12 games that you can play online through the Dreamcast at the moment. And I think the BBA only supports 4 of those, if I'm correct. Pod, Quake 3, and... what's the other one? Pod, Quake 3, PSO... and something else, but I can't seem to remember what that last game is, but I'm pretty confident it supports 4 games. Okay, so let's sell the rest of these guys. And maybe somebody else will jump into our quest. And we're gonna try and transfer ships as well. Hopefully we can get onto ship Altamira, figure out what the problem is. Okay, sell. We have no Meseta. Oh, it's so disappointing. There we go. Oh, we almost got 1,000. That's kind of nice. We could probably use some mates, but we're not... Well, we're okay. We can probably go to the bank and grab something. Alright, let's go back to the lobby. And... we're gonna save our game and we're gonna try and transfer ships. I kind of wish I kept that Meseta now, because if Randy didn't grab it, that means it's gone forever. Okay, let's save our character. Slash save one. A character data save. So that's all been saved to the Altamira, or sorry, the Silver Rant server. Let's transport, change ship. Let's see if we can get onto Altamira. Oh, everybody got the boot from Altamira. Well, let's try block 2. Okay, organize team, join team. Okay, so it's all GameCube players from here. Change block, block 1. All right. Wow, that sucked. I bailed as soon as I realized we were about to crash. I was typing and nothing was happening. I knew the end was nigh. Don't sweat it, Randy. It's all good, man. It's not your fault. It's just the nature of the quest. We'll do another one sometime. Okay. Well, it is 11:45, so we should probably bail anyways. Okay. I'm out for the night. Catch you tomorrow. And we'll jump on tomorrow, Saturday, when it's the regular gaming night. Okay, quick game. Yes. And we're saving. And here we go. Alright guys, well, that is the second time we've tried to complete Halloween Horror on Ultimate. I think it's going to be up to the 6th, and what's today, the 3rd, so we might still have time to complete it one more time. I think what we're going to have to do though is make sure our team is completely DreamPi, or sorry, completely BBA or PC users. DreamPi is obviously not going to work, but that's okay. We kind of figured it would do that. Looks like everybody got out pretty much unscathed, but we've definitely got to beat that quest at some point. So in the interim, you know, I'll just show off a couple of these other little pickups that I got this week. I'm running into a problem, guys. I've got all these pickups and I've got very little space left to put them in. So I showed you Red Dead Revolver. Didn't really find too many games this week, unfortunately. It's been pretty dry out there in the world, but I did get some pretty cool little DVDs and things. And actually, I did get, I lied. I got something that I couldn't even show you because I sold it so quickly. So I ended up picking up just a regular Sega Genesis with all the controllers. Got it for 10 bucks. Got rid of it for 35 just to kind of recoup a bit of cash quick. But it was gone within an hour of me getting it. Oh, every time I get a Sega Genesis, I'm like, this is going to be the time, guys. This is going to be the time I actually get a Sega Genesis and keep it, but it never happens. So what else did I get? Well, here's a little television series you may or may not be familiar with, but I love it. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest doing it. But I ended up finding seasons 1 and 2 of Wonder Chosen on DVD. Watch it. It's a kid's show, not for kids. Also, this was a pretty cool find, 10 bucks, but it's the Shout Factory releases of the complete series of the Transformers. So that's always kind of fun to have, and it's pretty slim too. It's about the same size as the original release of, like, I think half of one season. So it's kind of nice to have the whole set in a very small DVD box set. But this thing here, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I picked it up for 5 bucks, and I was looking online and apparently it goes for quite a bit. So I was like, well, maybe I can trade it to somebody for something fun, but just because I'm a fucking man-child, I guess, I ended up picking up this guy. It says $10 on there, but I actually got it for $5 because I had a coupon. So anyways, I'll trade it to somebody for something. It's a Michelangelo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles attack crawler. Apparently it goes for a little bit. So I'm hoping to trade it for some video game stuff at the next Geek Swap event that I go to. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Sorry that we weren't able to complete Halloween Horror, but we will complete it this weekend. I'll be sure to get in touch with Kuroheim and everybody else who's using BBA, and let's just do it. Let's get it done in Ultimate. Let's find those secret rooms that we've been trying to unlock and just get it done. But in the interim, I'm going to let you go for now, and everybody have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow. 100%. I know I say this all the time, and I rarely follow through, but I have a good feeling about tomorrow. Saturday, I have a great feeling that everything's going to be settled in the household, and we're going to be able to do this. So set your watch. 10 o'clock-ish, Saturday night, we will do this again. Okay, everybody, get some sleep, and I will talk to you then. Take care.